we are excited to introduce to you our next speaker, Megan Torgerson, pastor at Augustana Lutheran in West St. Paul, Minnesota. Not west part of St. Paul. That was very specific. She is a contributing member to Crazy Talk, a not-so-stuffy dictionary of theological terms, as well as other places. And she waffles. Is it her favorite food macaroni and cheese or cheeseburgers? Maybe she'll tell us tonight. Let's welcome Megan.
Hey guys. Good evening. It's really a lot of fun to be with you tonight, especially tonight on this night, because I get to follow up this super smart guy who can tell you really important and wise things about the Bible and about our history and about who we are, our theology, all these things that make us proud and intelligent and important. And I really think he's given us some profound insights and really set the tone for the rest of our time together. And that's why I'm here to talk to you about beauty pageants. That is right, pageants. And no, I have not been enjoying the beer hall a little more than I should have. That is a legit transition. See, I was Miss Minnesota 2003. No, seriously. But no, I was actually, and that's, did you see the picture? That's me in the dress. It's pink. But I competed for Miss America in September of 2003. I was a second-year seminary student at the time. I had to convince my seminary professors to let me take a month off of class so that I could go compete. They had appropriately mixed responses to that request. But anyway, when you're competing at Miss America, you spend a lot of time in alphabetical order, right? By state. So I spent most of my days between Michigan. Wow. She was a delight, by the way. And on the other side of me, I had Mississippi. Guys, see, here's the part where I tell you that I'm about to tell you a story about Miss Mississippi, and you should know that Miss Mississippi is a lovely person, and so please do not take the impersonation I am about to do of her accent as a mockery. It is not. Allison is a delight, okay? So anyway, when you're competing at the Miss America pageant, there is all this advanced material published about you, and so everybody can read about everybody else, do a little snooping, and that little bit of snooping is how I knew, for instance, that Miss California was also going to school to be a pastor. She was also a seminarian. She's now a pastor in the UCC. It was really cool. But apparently Miss Mississippi hadn't really had a chance to read my page in the program book until this one day when she came up to me and kind of, gave me a look and said, "Now, Lutheran, what is that?" And you guys, this was my time to shine. Like, this is a pageant question that I can answer without having to say world peace, right? I know the answer to this question. And so I tell her what every good second-year seminary student says being Lutheran is all about. We believe that we're saved by grace through faith, and this is God's work, not our own. And she cocks an eye. Thank you, I know, right? It was money well spent on my education. And she cocks an eyebrow at me and says, we have that too. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what tradition she's from, so I guess I have to dig a little deeper, right? So, okay, so Lutheran means that we are simultaneously sinner and saint, means that we're both redeemed by God, and we're also bound to our own sinful natures. And she says, we have that too. Okay, so a little deeper, right? We believe in the priesthood of all believers, and that all Christians have full and direct access to God, and that we can all serve God equally. And she says, we have that too. Like, we just keep going on like this, right? Like, we just keep going back and forth, and eventually she just gives up on me. She just walks away. And I remember thinking, okay, so she's Miss Mississippi, so she's what, like maybe Baptist? She probably thinks that Lutherans are just like basically cut-rate Baptists. I gained a lot of humility about my tradition that day. I think it was probably the first time in my life that I encountered someone who did not know what Lutheran meant. And I also think it was the first time in my life that I could not explain to someone what I even actually believed. So when you get over how depressing that is, you realize that you have a second step. And that's to start understanding yourself a little bit better. Start to get a better handle on what you believe and why and what your tradition is about and why God has called you to be the person that you are. That means getting a little vulnerable. That means getting exposed. And I have always said that being a pastor and being a pageant girl are really similar. The wardrobe's just a little different. I mean, we both want world peace. Come on. But the thing is that even though I wore a bikini and 4 1/4-inch heels on stage as a pageant girl, I have never felt more exposed than I have as a pastor. So, I get to talk with you guys again in the morning. So come on back in the morning. And let's talk a little more about vulnerability, about grace, about how we're called to live out the truth of God's love in our lives, even when we screw it all up. You might not have all the words, you might not do it or say it right, but this is what it means to be authentically who God called you to be, even when you blow it, especially when you blow it. Cheers. See you in the morning.